The name's Bullet. Tracer Bullet. But what people call me is something else entirely. I'm a private eye. I always keep 2 magnums in my desk. One's a gun, and I keep it loaded. The other's a bottle, and it keeps me loaded. I need both to do my job, and let me tell you, it's a tough job. But that's okay, because I'm a tough guy. Regardless, snooping pays the bills, especially Bill, my bookie, and Bill, my probation officer. I don't think it's arrogant to say that I'm one of the best snoops in the game, so it wasn't surprising that morning when Commissioner Arthur Corrigan came into my office with a case.
Come in. Bullet, I've got a case for you.
This was gonna be a tough one, but I was confident I could do it.
I knew you could do it, Bullet. Thank you. Unfortunately, we have a real case for you, Bullet. Another cop has shown up dead. His name was Lester Wells.
Another? I heard about Jay Flanagan, got shot 2 weeks back in the papers.
Wells is the 6th cop to show up dead in the past 3 months. Around here, the cops been dropping like flies.
Bullet, let me introduce Deputy Duke O'Donovan. He's my right-hand man.
Nice to meet you,
He helped me take down the East Side gangs last year.
Why are you boys coming to me? Seems like a job for you down at the station.
Well, we believe this is an inside job. We think someone in our department's a dirty traitor, and he's shooting down cops in the street.
We've had our suspicions for a while now, but we never launched a formal investigation into the department. After Wells died, we had no choice.
Wells is a great officer.
This case set off alarms in my head that I didn't like the sound of. However, the sound of greenbacks hitting against my hand is music to my ears any day, and I had debts to pay.
I'll take the case, Commissioner. When can we start?
We can start right now. Let's go see the body. We wanted you to see the body first, Bullet. We don't trust anyone in the department, so I delayed the other investigators until you could get a look.
Yeah, he was shot through the head. From the size of the hole, I'd say it was a Colt 45.
Such a shame. Wells is one of the best officers I knew.
All the cops were shot with the same gun, Colt 45. That's why we thought the same guy was doing it.
But we can't find the connection between the officers. None of them even worked the same cases together. I thought I'd seen it all when Duke and I took down the East Side gangs last year, but this is worse. Cops being hunted down by one of their own.
I couldn't find anything on the body that was helpful. Either Wells is the type who never carried anything on him, or the killer wiped him clean.
Is Wells working on any specific case?
No, he hasn't been working on the case in a while. In fact, I believe the last one was over 2 weeks ago.
This is a mess.
Was Wells a smoker?
Nah, he hated smoking. Never saw him with a cigarette in his life.
I knew this cigarette brand. I also only knew one person in the world who smoked English Oval cigarettes, and it just so happened he was also on the police force.
We need to get back to the station. Officer Dalton Lewis is the only one I know who smokes this European garbage.
Dalton Lewis. Didn't you work with him back on the Wilson case a while ago?
Yeah, he always struck me as untrustworthy. The lead's promising.
Hold on, Bullet. One cigarette end isn't enough to incriminate Lewis. We need to investigate this further.
I agree, but we can't ignore it.
I never liked Dalton. All the stories I ever heard about him weren't any good. I guess we'll see.
I knew Dalton Lewis. He worked on a case I got called in to investigate a year back or so. The deputy was right. Dalton was shady. If there was a crooked cop on the force, my money was on Dalton Lewis.
I don't know what you're looking for here, Bullet, but I trust you. I'll give you full access to the department. We'll be in our offices if you need us.
Yeah, just let us know.
I'm looking for an officer named Dalton Lewis.
Do you know where I can find him?
I saw Lewis in the hall by his office. Last I heard, he was examining evidence in the Jay Flanagan case.
Was he involved in that case?
Not that I know of. I could be wrong, though. I don't see how I could have gotten access to those files, though. As evidence clerk, all case files need to be checked out through me.
The evidence was building up against Dalton. The cigarette was one thing, but if he was checking out evidence from the other cases, you couldn't let that slide. This didn't look good for him. What I didn't understand is why he was killing cops. What good did it do Dalton to gun down officers in cold blood? Dalton Lewis. So we meet again.
Tracer Bullet. I thought I'd seen the last of you after the Wilson case.
Trust me, Lewis. You'll wish you hadn't seen me today. I have evidence that proves you were on the scene when Wells was shot. I also know you've been checking out the case files of the other dead cops. So you might as well confess now and get it over with.
Now listen here, Bullet. I haven't a clue of what you're talking about. And I didn't kill Lester Wells. Lester was a friend of mine. And I never checked out evidence from any of those cases. I know better than to get mixed up in that. But this confirms my suspicions. Someone in the department is trying to frame me.
Likely story, Lewis. Why should I believe you? Everyone in the department knows you go down to those illegal nightclubs on the weekends. Your reputation's non-existent.
I know you don't want to believe me, Bullet, but it's the truth. And I can prove it. I have the evidence against... Listen, we can't talk here. I'm paranoid enough as it is. Now that I'm certain someone is trying to frame me, well, we have to talk outside of this police station. Maybe tonight at the train yards. I'll bring the evidence proving that I'm innocent.
Fine. Train yards, 7 o'clock. Lewis, this better not be a waste of my time. I wasn't inclined to trust a guy like Lewis. I'd met gangsters with more integrity than him, but this sounded promising. I still had reservations about this meeting. Something about Lewis made me nervous. Maybe it was his affiliation with the illegal nightclubs, or the rumors about his many amorous companions. Disregarding his nightlife, I had to talk to him. This was the only lead I had. Just my luck. I knew something like this was gonna happen. I shouldn't have agreed to this meeting. Maybe if we had just talked in the police station, Lewis would still be alive. He was the only lead I had, and now he was dead. What a mess. This must have been torn off from the papers. An address in Dalton's handwriting. These numbers look familiar. I think I know this place. Maybe this meeting wasn't a total bust. This address could be a big find. I knew this building. It just came back to me. I had read about it in the papers when Commissioner Corrigan and the deputy finally took down the East Side gangs. Evidently, this place was one of their big operating facilities. But why would Dalton write this address down? What good did this building do in proving his innocence? Nothing. Nothing but dust. I couldn't find anything incriminating or even suspicious in the whole place. Just a regular abandoned building. What a disappointment. I really thought this building would lead to something. Now all I had was a dead informant, worthless evidence, and I was totally out of leads. I didn't have a single clue where to go from here.
Officer, I need to see the case files for the Wells and Flanagan murders.
Sure, boss. Let me get those for you.
Thanks, Booker.
Here you go. All the files should be right here.
Thank you. Booker, there are documents in this file that I've never seen before. How could this have gotten found?
Beats me.
I'm gonna take these to my office.
Hope you found what you're looking for, boss.
Me too.
You! I knew it was you! You no good double cross!
This is Tracer Bullet speaking. Gone? What do you mean gone? Gone as in stepped out of the office or gone as in dead? You don't know? Well then I'm coming in right now.
What in the hell's going on in here?
The commissioner, he's gone. No one knows where he went. He didn't say anything to anyone.
When was the last time you saw him?
Yesterday, he was in his office looking at some case files. Nobody saw him after that.
What case files?
He was looking at the documents from the cases of the other dead cops. He said he'd never seen some of them before.
How can the commissioner not know about case files? Where's the deputy? Shouldn't he be here?
He was here earlier, but when I told him the commissioner was gone, he said he might know where to find him and he ran out.
You did the right thing calling me. This is serious. I need to see the commissioner's office. If it's the last place anybody saw him, I have to investigate. If the commissioner went missing, this could only mean one thing. That the worthless, cop-killing, no-good perpetrator struck again, and this time he hit us where it hurts. There's gotta be a clue in this room. The commissioner must have found something in those case files that forced the perpetrator's hand, but what was it? Bingo. I was onto something here. What did the commissioner see in these? What was the connection he made? How is it that the police commissioner had never seen these documents before? This case just blew wide open. I knew who the perpetrator was, and even better, I knew where the commissioner was. This bastard was gonna pay for what he did to the department.
I'll never tell you where they are, traitor.
You no good double-crossing cop killing. I should have known.
Tracer Bullet.
I knew you'd find me out eventually. I did my best to convince the police commissioner not to hire you. Stay where you are! You move any closer, the police commissioner's dead!
I should have known you were crooked. Boys from the west side always stab you in the back.
So you figured it out then?
Of course I did. You're with the west side gangs. That's why you joined the department in the first place. To take down the east side with the help of the police.
You're sharp, Bullet. I'll give you that. The west side couldn't take down the east side on its own. So I had the thought. Who better to help than our boys in blue? So I joined the force and fed them information. And with the law on my side, they didn't stand a chance.
And the cops you killed? I assumed they had something to do with the gangs as well.
Right again. Guys like Flanagan and Wells had to die. They were sticking their nose into the west side's business. The big boss told me to off them. And because I was head deputy, nobody ever saw the forensic reports.
But you started to get sloppy.
People started to suspect things. I needed a patsy to pin the crime on.
Dalton Lewis.
Dalton Lewis. He was a snake, but he was smart enough to realize when someone was trying to frame him. When he figured out who it was, he followed me around. Even tailed me here one night. He was going to give the information to you, but I got to him in time. Or so I thought.
So why not kill the commissioner? Why keep him alive at all?
He's got the case files that incriminate me somewhere. I'm trying to get the information out of him, but he won't say a word.
I'll never tell you, you dirty double-crossing traitor.
Shut up or I'll blow your brains out!
I've heard enough from you, Duke. Release the commissioner or I'll shoot.
I doubt it. You wouldn't risk hitting our esteemed police commissioner.
Like hell. It's over, Duke. No more cops are gonna die because of your evil schemes.
That's what you think, Bullet. You may have gotten me, but you'll never know who I work for. Kill me if you want. Doesn't matter. It won't change anything.
That's where you're wrong. You got 6 men dead by your hands screaming for justice. It's time somebody started listening.
Darn good work, Bullet. You've done the force proud today.
Hardly. We still don't know who he works for. We have no idea who this big boss is.
Actually, we do. I heard him over talking earlier. He said that you know who is back.
No. It's not possible. Kane never misses.
I didn't want to believe it either, but it makes too much sense. It explains the West Side's heightened activity recently, too.
But if this is true, if the King's still alive, and he's back in control of the West Side, we're gonna have a lot more to worry about than just dead cops. You know what they say, whenever one case closes, another one opens. If the King was really back, and he was back in control of the West Side, there was only one man I could trust.